Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the March 29, 2022 Utah Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission meeting. We're going to begin our meeting today with a Pledge of Allegiance, and Anita Nowley is going to lead us in that. Thank you, Anita. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Thank you, Anita. Item number 3 on our agenda today is going to be the approval of the minutes of commission meetings. There's the commission meeting of February 18, 2022, which was a special meeting of the commission, and February 22, 2022, which was a regular commission meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Toohey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. I have a couple of announcements to make for the benefit of everyone. For our proposed future meetings, we have a meeting, regular commission meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, April 26th. And then the May meeting will be on May 24 of 2022. And you'll note that is not the last Tuesday of the month. Because of Memorial Day weekend, we felt it best in terms of helping our staff to prepare for the meeting and everything that we hold the meeting a week earlier than normal. Those wishing to comment on this meeting may email us at hotline@utah.gov, and the comments will be addressed, and we'll also hear public comment at the end of our meeting today for any of you who are physically present and would like to address the commission. The next item we have on our agenda is our state auditor. John Dougal is going to make a presentation to the commission. And Auditor Dougal, we welcome you, and I see you've got a couple other folks with you that you may want to introduce to the commission. I know I've spoken to them on the phone, but the others may want to be introduced to them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and Commission members. It's a pleasure to be with you, John Dougal. I have with me Bertha Liu, who's the engagement manager for our audit at the ABC, and Tim Tamarick, who's our audit engineer. So we're mixing it up from some that you've seen in the past. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you. As you know, COVID's kind of been an interesting dynamic for your operations as well as for ours. So we're trying to get resynced up with constitutional responsibility to come in and audit various activities of the DABC. You should have a 2-pager in your packet with our proposed audit plan for fiscal year 2022. And we have a list of different items there to deal with financial, regulatory, licensing, operations, and package agencies. And so with that, I'll answer any questions you might have. And then my ask is for an approval of the plan and we'll get started.
Okay. Anyone have any questions of the auditor? Well, if not, then I'll accept a motion to adopt the auditor's plan for the audit for 2022. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Okay, I'll give it to Commissioner Tennant this time. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parrish. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing the work that you're going to do for us. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
The next item we have on our agenda is the financial update. Sean?
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here today to go over February's financials. For February, we experienced $46.5 million in revenue for that month alone. For the year to date, we're at $369 million with almost 30 million bottles and cans sold. So this is a 13.9% increase in sales from the prior year, just for that month alone. What we plan is to be returning to the general fund year to date $83.8 million, which is $7.9 million higher than the year prior. That's almost a 10% increase. Including our sales taxes and other programs that we fund, like Parents Empowered, School Lunch, Public Safety. We are at projected $151 million returned to those programs and local communities. Do we have any questions on the financials?
Commissioners have any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could just make a comment, and that is that from the operations subcommittee, we appreciate the good job that the management of the commission is the management of the commission. I'd point out two figures that I think are significant. One is that we've gone through somewhat of a change in marketing and in the more in the demonstration and the layouts of our stores. Our sales per square foot over the last month have been up 8.5%. We're running not at full staff, but with additional training, our daily sales per FTE are up 7%. And I think those are very good indicators of the service and the services that we're providing through our stores and through our retail.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Parrish. Yeah. Well, I guess it's okay to take a call when the commander-in-chief calls, right? Anyway, let's move along. If there are any other comments about the financial update. Sean, thank you very much. And thank you for the good report that you put together for us every month. Moving along to Parents Empowered. See, we have Doug with us here in person. It's been a long time since it's been in person.
Great.
Good to
Thanks,
see
Chair.
you.
Good morning, commissioners. It is good to be here in person. So thank you very much. I'd like to mention that April is National Alcohol Awareness Month. And it was developed to increase awareness, understanding, and prevention of problematic drinking. Thanks to, I did want to mention a stat. In 2020, there were 99,000 alcohol-related deaths in the U.S. And so that kind of gives you an idea of what we're dealing here with alcohol and its harms and effects. Thanks to our executive director, Tiffany, we're supporting April as Alcohol Awareness Month. And in April and in the months ahead, you'll be seeing some things that we're going to be rolling out. And at any rate, we're really excited to take that approach. And thanks to Tiffany, we're all in on this. So just wanted to mention that. Also, at the January Commission meeting, I mentioned about our Parents Empowered Parent Survey. And this is a survey that we administer twice a year. We look to it to gain some awareness of what our parental perceptions are and awareness points with underage drinking in Utah. So we do it twice a year. It's a very robust survey. We survey over 600 people throughout the state. And I wanted to share just a few of the highlights that we got from that survey. Number one, parents continue to view themselves as the greatest influence on their child's decision to drink. In the latest wave, those numbers are down just a little bit, 5 percentage points to 63%. Parents also continue to have a high level of knowing where their child is, who they're with, but not the same confidence level in terms of what their child is doing, and also if there's alcohol present. So a little bit drop in those areas. That's obviously an area that we can work on. And then the most recent wave saw a decline in awareness of harms ads for underage drinking, and specific to parents empowered ads, that's also down about 5% as well. So these are some of the trends that we're going to monitor, obviously, and adjust our strategies accordingly. So yes, that concludes my report. Is there anything else I can help with?
Anybody have any questions of Doug? Well, I kind of do, Doug. First of all, have there been any figures yet relating the pandemic to what young people are doing with regard to alcohol? Has there been any studies yet to come out?
We see a few. What we're seeing mostly is that consumption was down quite substantially. It's interesting that, well, as we're all locked up and socially isolated, so to speak, I mean, that prohibited the kids from being out with their friends and, at those parties and whatnot. So that's what we're seeing in general over the state. But it's interesting, like I mentioned, those 99,000 deaths, which includes adults and everyone. That was a jump of 25%. So consumption has gone up in some of those problematic areas. But underage drinking has been down, at least as far as we can see over that time period.
Okay, very interesting. Well, thank you, Doug. We really appreciate what you're doing and the message that you're getting out to everyone.
Chairman, can I just ask Doug one quick question?
Of course.
In that 99,000, does that include people who are killed on the highways as a result of? Okay, I wondered. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. It's all alcohol related deaths. So that would include highway accidents. Anything related to that. So it's a big number though, for sure.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to item 8 then, and violations and the consent calendar. And Jeff, are you handling that for us today?
Attorney General's office on behalf of Sheila, who is absent having a birthday. Anyway, all items on the consent calendar, except for items 2 and 3, we're good to go and ready for approval. With respect to item 3, we have an agreement in principle. Quality Quick Stop is represented by Tanner Lenart. She is present, and if I've misstated that, she can correct me.
Jeff, I didn't hear that, sorry.
I said we have an agreement in principle.
Hold the mic closer to you.
We have an agreement in principle. But anyway, Tanner's here today, and if that is incorrect, she can correct me on that. And with respect to Kickin' Seafood, this violation dates back to September. And the owner signed the agreement in December. We still haven't received payment. And the disagreement is he believes he's paid. We've told him that was for another violation. And he says he's too busy to come in and take care of it. I said, well, if we're wrong, come in and take care of it. If you're wrong, come in and take care of it. He says he's too busy. I said, maybe the best thing for you to do would be to address the commission today as to why you can't come in and take care of it. If he's online, you may want to hear from him.
Yes, I would. Would you folks like to hear from him? Yes. All right. Yes, we would. So if he's online, can we hear from the representative from Kickin' Seafood? Is he not online?
I don't believe so. I told him, I've sent him,
There you go.
I sent him a copy of the agenda with the call information, told him what the location was at this location, told him that Chris would be in the office all day yesterday, perhaps in the morning this morning, given several opportunities for him to kind of come in and resolve it. But
can you give us some advice on what our options might be with regard to someone like this who is not being cooperative with the Attorney General's office?
so suppose we could let it go another month, and if he doesn't pay by then.
Just ask, I mean, I know we have a severe language barrier with this particular.
Do
I know we have a language barrier with this particular licensee. And one thing that I have heard from a couple of other licensees is that they just really don't, I really don't believe they all understand exactly what is going on, what they need to do. Is this an issue in this particular situation?
In my opinion, it's a case of willful blindness. He prefers not to understand. I have no
Okay,
problem communicating with him.
okay.
But he wants to operate the way he wants to operate. And you try to tell him, well, you need to kind of do it this way. And
Okay.
that's where the rub is.
So did you want to say something, Commissioner?
Well, Mr. Chair, I would just, I'm not sure exactly what type of action to take, but I would actually prefer to not push this another month. I feel like this particular case has come up before us and we've just kind of let it be out there. And so I guess we'd have to talk about what type of action we would take, but I feel like we give time. And I think when it's legitimate, we should actually err on the side of the business when it's legitimate. But hearing what our Attorney General has to say gives me a little pause here.
The settlement agreement says any violation of a term is a violation of the agreement. So he agreed to pay, I believe it was in December, January.
Right.
Paid.
And has he had another violation since then?
No,
So
he's had a couple of them though.
I was going to say, so when he was here in September, he had was that his first violation or his second
He's
violation?
had 4, but he's had 2 different stores,
Right.
2 different locations, excuse me.
Oh, so the other one was at that you're right. The other one was at a different location, but he represents himself as primarily at the Layton location. And the Layton location, I'm just confused about the timeline as far as when the actual violations occurred.
I'm not prepared to speak
Okay.
on that. And that may be reason for not to take any action.
But it's
today.
not this is just the same one we were
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I guess what I think we really should get some advice on is consistent with what Commissioner Tennant is asking, is what options do we have at this point in time to address someone who is not cooperating with you in finishing these settlement agreements?
Well, typically, when you have a breach of a settlement, you can say you want to move to enforce the settlement agreement. And that would be an order to pay, resulting in an order to pay by a certain name. Then you can take it to court after that if it doesn't pay.
So we would have to have an OSC for an order to pay?
I'm not sure. What I was thinking, you'd file a motion to enforce the settlement agreement.
Well, I don't know if Commissioner Tenor is going to agree with me on this, but it would seem to me that we definitely would need to calendar this next month for either an order to show cause, order to pay. And we would need the Attorney General's office to follow up to give us advice on what to do with this person. But it would seem to me we cannot continue to just kick this one down the road. I'm assuming there was even a language barrier. It would seem this is a pretty simple issue. You get your checks out, you put your checks next to what's due and owing, and you can very quickly tell if you have a debt to the state of Utah.
And Chris has said she'll send him a copy. This is the thing you've paid for. This is the one you haven't. So
You've done that, Chris? Oh, okay. So maybe this ought to be something we literally work on this month with this individual so that next month we are not taking the can and kicking it down the road again. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh,
May I ask a question? That is a possible remedy suspending his license until he pays all of the fines and so forth?
I would say not without process.
OSC probably. Well, I think we should look into that. And you should give us some advice, maybe some interim advice before the next meeting, so that we're prepared either to do an OSC rate forfeiture of license or an OSC rate order to pay or whatever is appropriate. But I think we will be looking to you for advice. But I think it's quite clear we want to dispose of this matter next month, one way or another.
Sure. Okay.
Is that correct, Commissioner Tenor?
yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm okay with that. I guess my main concern is sometimes these things get dragged out. Like I said, we heard about this quite a while ago. And so, now that we're here where we are, it's frustrating that we're having to go another month, but I completely understand. I think due process makes sense to go another month. I might suggest that in the future, these types of things maybe be reviewed in our compliance subcommittee. Did the compliance subcommittee review this?
Mr. Chairman, we did review it and we were just waiting on a payment and there was confusion about if it was for this violation or a different violation. And that's the extent that we discussed it. So I don't think I was aware of the bigger issue.
I would just, because it would be good if when issues like this arise in a timely manner, if at least the compliance committee can get into the details and come with a recommendation, we won't find ourselves in these, long drawn out processes in the future, but understanding where we are, I'm supportive of what the chair is recommending.
Okay. Does anybody else have any different views or want to contribute to this discussion before we let the Attorney General proceed?
I would just like to ask the executive director if we have the ability to just make sure that our bases are covered and make sure that this licensee has the basics provided to him in his native language.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I have a draft email waiting to hit send to our compliance team and CC some of the commissioners here, making sure that our next step, be it this afternoon or tomorrow, is to make sure that we reach out to him with options and offers for language translation services, so that we can make sure if that is a barrier of any sort that that's mitigated. Yep.
Great, because I would just hate for him to come back and say, I didn't understand. So
I agree.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we would do is approve the consent calendar, striking items number 2 and 3. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
A move by Commissioner Tui. Do I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Orton. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Transfer of location requests, item number 9. We're going to go to Nicole for that.
Good morning, Commissioners. So on transfer of location, we have Tejadas Market. They are moving from 1179 South Navajo Street in Salt Lake City to 1824 West, 3500 South, number 11.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Tui to approve it. Is there a second?
Second, Randall.
Seconded by Commissioner Orton. Any further discussion or questions? Voting on the motion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carries unanimously. All right, and item number 10, extended closure request. The first one, Nicole, you might as well stay put. That's yours. Could you tell us a little bit about Below Zero?
Yes, in August, they had purchased a license and they did a transfer Below Zero, that is. And they're unable to open by March 31st of this year. And Mr. Dan Scarlett is here to speak with you all.
Okay. Mr. Sparlick, are you here?
That he would be. I didn't see him. Dan, you here now? You need to hit star 6 to unmute. Yes, he's not.
Maybe he's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah, maybe he's not there. I talked with him yesterday.
Well, if we could discuss this with you, the way
Yes.
I understand this is one of those unfortunate circumstances where a person purchased a license and they're not able to meet the statutory requirement to open up by the end of March, which is this week.
Yes, sir.
And so this particular individual, Mr. Sparlick, right?
Yes,
Mr. Sparlick has been very cooperative with the department and has been voluntarily said he was going to give up his license
Yes.
so that we could have that license available today.
Yes.
The only issue I have, Nicole, and I may need some advice from you and from staff, with him not being here, do we have anything in writing where he's giving up his license so that we could deem his license to have been given up? Or do you have anything at all that would give us the comfort that if we deem his license to have been given up today, that we could use it later on to award a license?
I do. I have a text and email that he said he's going to give it up. He wants, because he's applying for additional license and he wants to be on the good grace of the commission. So.
Right. And I would actually, for myself, I hope other commissioners feel the same way, that because of his cooperation, that we would consider him very, give him every consideration possible when he does apply. But as long as you do have something
I
in
do.
writing saying, I hereby give up my license, I think we could proceed then. Okay.
I do, and I'll forward it to the management.
Commissioners, one other option would be, it's very clear from our email exchanges that it's absolutely impossible for him to be able to open by the 31st. So you could, even absent the surrender issue, just deem the license forfeited as of today, given the knowledge that it's impossible for him to be open by the 31st.
Now, as far as that license being forfeited, then we'd have to make a motion to deem it forfeited, I assume, right?
Yes, pursuant to 32B 8A 203, which is the statute that only gives them 7 months after the transfer to open.
All right. So to that extent, I will accept a motion to deem the bar license of Below Zero in Salt Lake City deemed forfeited pursuant to Utah Code Annotated 32B 8C 203. Do I have a motion to that effect? Moved by Commissioner Parrish. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tui. Any discussion? If not, voting on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. And when you do talk to him, will you please thank him on behalf of the commission for his cooperation?
I will. He's a
And
really
also
good-
express our deep regret that he was not able to open.
Yes, I will.
Item number B then, Nicole, is is it called L'Esprit Prime Steak and Spirits?
Yes, Leslie Prime Steak and Spirits in Park City is requesting a closure until the June meeting. They have manpower issues, unable to get employees and such.
I have a motion to allow the extended closure for L'Esprit Prime Steak and Spirits in Park City,
So moved.
June 22.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tui. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Orton. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carries
Thank you.
unanimously. All right, Abe, could you tell us about under canvas in Kanab?
Good morning, Commissioners. Under Canvas in Kanab is a glamping operation. They're expected to open before the next commission meeting.
Okay, and so your staff recommends we go ahead and provide the extended closure through the April commission meeting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to that effect? Okay, moved by Commissioner Tarragon. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Parrish. Need further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Item number D is Circle Inn Pizzeria in Clearfield. Bonnie?
Good morning, Commissioners. Circle Inn Pizzeria in Clearfield is a bar license. Unfortunately, their building burnt to the ground January 3rd. The 90-day closure that I could give them is up April 13th. So I'm requesting until the April meeting for their extended closure. Garrett is on the line if you want to speak to him, and Aaron with York and Hal is also here if you want to hear from either of those.
I give them enough time.
Aaron, we're not giving enough time. Do you want to come up? So she's representing the purchaser of the license. Garrett had no recourse but to sell the license since they couldn't rebuild.
Good morning, Commissioners. So yes, I'm representing the DKBK, which is the intended purchaser of this license, and we are on schedule to file the transfer application April 8th or by the April 10th deadline. So all things are go. We do have an agreement with the seller who suffered this catastrophic loss of his business. And so we have come to an agreement and we have that in the works.
Anybody have any questions? All right, do I have a motion that anyone wants to make in connection with this?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Orton to extend through the April meeting, the extended closure. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tui. Any
Thank you,
further
Commissioners.
discussion? Voting on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Item E, the Green Room in Salt Lake City. Anita?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, the Green Room, which we call, you did a license transfer last month. Their closure is set to expire before the April meeting, so we wanted to make sure there wasn't a lapse in that. They are requesting until the June meeting. They're remodeling. They have their permits and are diligently working to get their establishment open by the June meeting. Mike was going to try and be on the line. I'm not sure if he made it. He had a family emergency.
Okay. All right, but you're
I am
recommending.
here. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, Mike. Yes, if you'd like to add anything.
All right, let me get a motion then first. If there's a motion, then we can hear from Mike. Do I have a motion to extend the Green Room through June 2022? Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Terrigan. Discussion? Any questions from the commission? Okay. Does the licensee want to make any comment?
No, I believe Anita covered it all. Thank you very much, Commissioners.
All right. Voting on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is Triple Peaks in Ogden. Nicole? You don't look like Nicole, Jeff.
I was trying to sneak that in. No, Nicole's out with the family. Her mom had surgery. So what we're covering is Triple Peaks. They are requesting to go beyond their 7-month extension, but it is not allowed per what Angela stated earlier. As soon as he got the transfer back in September, they had a fire, burned the place far enough that they have to go through and tear the building down. And then when they went to rebuild, they had to meet up with new building codes, which offered restrictions beyond the 7-month. So Mr. Apuna is here, I believe, and he would like to address the commission. The extension goes until the 28th of April, which is 2 days after the April commission meeting, but construction will not be completed by that time.
Well, I think maybe we ought to go ahead and hear from the applicant before we make any kind of a motion. Gentlemen, could you state your names for the record, please?
Mark Boonen, Kevin Pettit. And like he was saying, again, unfortunate deal with this whole thing. We bought it and owned it for 13 days and it burned down. We'd already gone in and, had done not any remodeling on the building because we didn't want to dig into the structure, because our plan was to have that building up and running and then build a new building behind it, tear that one down and make it a parking lot. So obviously plan B got to move forward. And the problem that we're having with this is because of all the COVID, what's going on, we haven't even got our insurance claim figured out with this thing yet, because they don't have enough staff to work our insurance. So we haven't been sitting on our haunches waiting on that. We spent all the money out of our own pockets to clear the location after it did the inspection, everything else. We've cleared the location. We've got $170,000 invested in this thing without the insurance company even saying anything to us, because we knew this was time of the essence. We had been waiting on it. Right now, trying to get anybody as far as construction, because now we are basically brand new construction. Because they required us to remove, this is city-wise, required us to remove the pavement. So we're a dirt field. So to get anybody in there as far as contractors, because we have to do perk tests, we have to do seismic, we have to do geological studies, we have to do all that stuff. And we are able to get companies in there expedited actually paid them to move in front of people again, because we knew that this was running on this thing. So we have not sat back on this deal. We have full engineered site plans already turned into the city, second plans. And we've got architecture plans. And I think I've sent those, showing what we've done. We've done everything possible to not lose this license. And the reason that we don't, this building, it's a 19,000 square foot building. We're going to employ 150 people in this area. The city is on board with everything we're doing, the excitement in it. Jenny was actually going to come down. She's off today, but yeah, she was going to come down and talk in person for the Harrisville City. But everybody's on board on this deal. And, from what I understand is the legislation has already been approved to change to basically get rid of the statute. June 1st, it takes into, this 7 month is gone. And what I don't want to happen is, again, like I say, everything we've done has been put on hold to everything not on our, we've done everything we can. Everything, and even on the city meetings, they're only once every month, but we've gotten everything into them. And to be able to open facility, I don't know if you guys have, ladies and gentlemen have seen it. As far as we sent the plans, we sent everything to it. The magnitude of what we're bringing this area, it's really going to kill it in the fact that if we get in there and we've got a steakhouse, a nightclub, a sports bar, a convention area, a pool, a sports field, all this stuff, to be able to, when we open our doors, to say, well, sorry, we can only employ half the people in because we can't get it open because we had to give up our license because we were 30 days out on a legislation that's already been changed, just hasn't gone into effect. So that's what there's just a lot going on. And I understand that, yes, we get moved in there and we get, put into the shuffle with everybody else as far as getting a new license. And the odds of getting one are pretty good because of the area that we're in. But again, there's no guarantee there's going to be one available. It could be, months down the road. We're sitting there waiting with nothing to do.
Yes, and we're empathetic to that. We really are. Because prior to this meeting, of course, I heard the whole story about what happened here. Keep in mind that this legislation is a two-edged sword. Because Mr. Spurlock was also put in the same position that you were in. But on the other hand, today we had to already approve a sale of a bar license, even though the legislation is going to change. And so our hands are tied. We must comply with the statute as a commission. We can't go making our own laws or say, well, this is the way it's going to be in June, so let's do this. Because if we did that, then we would not be in a position where we would have approved the transfer of this other bar license. So it looks to me, that we don't have a lot of discretion with regard to this. The only thing we can tell you is, like we told Mr. Spurlock, since you've been cooperating and if you give up your license here today, being that you won't probably make this April 28th date, I know that's going to put us in a position where, first of all, we know you're very cooperative and you've been helpful to the entire process. The second thing is because of your location, and you're in an underserved area, that would weigh very heavily in connection with giving any available bar license to your establishment. So, you're in a little different position, I think, than somebody who might be in an area that has lots of service. So that it's up to you whether you want to give up your license today or whether you want to wait until the April meeting to do that. You have until the April meeting, but if you can't make it, it obviously would be very helpful for the state of Utah to have that license to give to someone who's ready to open.
And we have very long memories for these.
Especially my friend Commissioner Ward. She's very good at that.
My mom used to tell me the same thing. It was never good.
We have long memories for good and bad. So.
Yeah, hers was always evil. She never forgot that.
So it's going to be up to you guys what you want to do, but we have our hands tied and you're not going to be able to fall within the statutory change because that's not going to take effect till June.
Okay, we'll go talk about it and get back to you.
Mr. Chair, just one question. Is there any scenario where we open something or some portion and operate for some amount of time by April 28th?
Yeah, we actually with, he can probably talk more about it, because yes, we ran that obstacle for a month straight, we had the city on board and everything, and then all of a sudden it just went away. The option went away. I don't know, but Jeff would be able to explain that better.
Yeah, some of the issues that we faced is based upon a permanent structure or some that would meet Board of Health codes. So it would have been a tent in a field with no culinary, no, water, no sewer, legitimate power, that kind of thing. That's what we were up against. It wasn't like it would have been
Like another permanent like a smaller permanent location, it would have been, okay.
It would have been a trailer with that kind of stuff, but the city was on board with it.
Okay, it just didn't meet our code.
all the city would have been able to offer was a temporary license, not a permanent license.
And we require a permanent?
Well, I'll tell you what we can do is we can table this for a little bit, and we are going to be looking at bar licenses here in a while. If you guys would want to talk outside, and I don't want to pressure you, but if you want to give up the license before we consider the bar licenses, we'd consider that. If you want to wait a month and see if you can pull a miracle off, we're also very empathetic to that too.
Already scared me into it.
No.
Oh, no, I'd tell you those.
I just wanted to understand that
I'm
we
just
do
giving you that
remember
time.
the times when licensees make difficult decisions.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Mr. Chair, I just got a little bit kind of back and forth over here, but the staff is looking into, like, a trailer is different than a tent. And so staff's doing just a little bit of
Yeah,
follow
we were
up
actually
on.
gonna put a trailer up and have bathrooms, they're portable bathrooms, but have the stuff available. And like say, but Jeff said we were running into some issues with that. Like I said, we beat our heads against the wall with this damn thing. If you got some ideas, I'm good.
Why don't you guys go ahead and talk and let us know, okay, before we get to the bar licenses?
Can we wait? Well, can we just wait till afterwards?
Well, you can do it afterwards, and we just won't have your bar license to give them
Well, no, what
today.
I was, because they were gonna talk about what she would, what
All
she
right.
was just talking about.
Okay, well, let us move on down the agenda then, and we'll
I
call you
mean, if
back
it's a dead
later.
issue, then we'll cooperate.
Okay.
But,
We want to, I hope you can see that the commission wants to work with you,
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
and staff has done that.
Jeff and Nicole have been
you know,
absolutely amazing.
But unfortunately, the legislature puts us in a box sometimes.
Commissioner, in the meantime, would you at least grant them extended closure to the April meeting? So in the event that we get too busy and forget to come back to this agenda item, we haven't left them
All right.
hanging
We
out
have a
there.
motion to extend their closure through the April meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Randall. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Terrazon. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving down to item number 11, educational permit applicants. Dan, you've got the Salt Lake Culinary Education.
I do. And good morning, commissioners. Yes, I do. So this is going to be Salt Lake Culinary Education at 2233 South, 300 East in Salt Lake. It should be noted that there's currently a license holder at this location, and they have submitted a relinquishment letter for their DABC license effective today. The application on today's agenda is complete and meets statutory requirements, and staff would recommend approval.
All right, very good. Do I have a motion to grant Salt Lake Culinary Education a educational permit? Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Parrish. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 12, off-premise beer retailer applicants. Stephanie?
Good morning, commissioners. We can begin by striking applicant number 2. So that just leaves us with one application, and that is the Maverick, and they are conditional and they meet the statutory requirements.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve item number 1, striking item number 2 for off-premise beer retailer applicants? Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second?
Second, Terrazon.
seconded by Commissioner Terrazon. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries unanimously. Item number 13, license applications. First, we're going to do license transfer applications. Margaret, the full transfers.
Good morning, Commissioners. On the full transfers, we will start by striking 1 and 2. And then we'll start with number 3, Hamachi Incorporated DBA Hamachi is a full restaurant license in Salt Lake City. It's transferring its license to the Hamachi Japanese Grill and Sushi Bar. A management agreement is in place until the license can be transferred. It is no longer conditional, and it does meet statutory requirements. Number 2, RGN, the Bear's Den, it's a bar license in Magna, transferring to Med Holdings LLC and renaming it Deuces Wild. This license, we would like the commission to have it become effective April 20th. The applicant will not be taking over operations until that is effective. We also need to ask the commission to grant a conditional stage approval. It is a sexually oriented business. Otherwise, it meets statutory requirements.
Okay.
Number 5, Wing Nuts is a full restaurant license in Draper. It has a management agreement in place, and until the license can be transferred, it is complete, meets statutory requirements. Number 6, Immigration Cafe is a full restaurant license. It is currently on a closure, so no management agreement was necessary. So it is still conditional. Otherwise, it is ready to go. Do you want me to go on to the next group or do those first?
No, let's just do those first. It's easier just to do it. Items 1 through 6 on item A. First of all, let me do this. Does the commission have any questions about any of these applicants? Okay, then if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve under item A license transfer applications, items 3, 4, 5, and 6, with 4 being conditional as to the stage requirement, and item number 6 being conditional for licensing. Is that correct, Margaret?
3, 4, and 6 are all conditional.
Okay, 3, 4, and 6 are all conditional. Okay. All right, very good. I thought you'd stricken 3 as conditional.
No, it is.
It's still conditional.
It's still conditional.
So the motion would be to approve items 3, 4, 5, and 6, with 3, 4, and 6 being conditional, and 4 being conditional due to being a sexually oriented business. Do I have a motion to that effect?
And the stage approval. So we need to grant the stage approval.
We include a stage approval permission. All right. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second?
Second, Tui.
Seconded by Commissioner Tui. Any further discussion? Voting on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move then to the 51% ownership change. Margaret, shall we go through those?
We have 8 of these licenses, all restructuring the ownership of their entity. The Sun Trap, Sand Trap, Vertigo Complex, Rubens Casino Mexicana, which was formerly El Toro Viejo, Oasis Cafe, and Brigham City Wingers. And the last one, Palace Bar, all meet statutory requirements.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the 51% ownership changes?
I'll second.
I think Commissioner Carrizon got that one. And Commissioner Tui second. All those any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Off-premise beer transfers.
We have 3 of those. 7-Eleven, effective date should be April 26th. It is conditional, otherwise meets statutory requirements. Hales Oil in Stockton, transferring to, it'll be now, Hales, that is transfer. It is complete. Well, it meets statutory requirements, and Fast Stop 1122, effective date April 1st. It is conditional as well.
Okay. Can I have a motion then to approve items 1, 2, and 3, with item 1 being effective April 26th and being conditional, and item number 3 being conditional and be effective April 14th, was it? First, April 1st. Okay. Okay, a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Orton. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tui.
They did that on purpose. They were like, the bars are coming up.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, let's leave the room.
I don't know, that's not exactly.
No, it's it's dust.
Word has it that due to some of the construction going on in a different part of the building, it set off dust, construction dust set off the alarm. We've been told that we're good to stay, so at least everyone has had a moment to stretch. My 10-year-old has gotten his wiggles out, and hopefully we'll be good to go now from this point forward. Thank you for your cooperation.
Give you all about 3 minutes or so to regroup. If anyone needs to do anything, this is the time to do it.
How are you? Well, I always like thinking about all things. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Get out there about talk about meeting stuff. Oh, is she? There's some here. Many locals. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a double-edged sword because you, but he's not gonna idea how. Yeah. It probably.
I want to make sure Vicky's ready. Vicky, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Let's go ahead and continue. I mean, you couldn't get a better fanfare for bar licenses, I guess. So let's go ahead and take a look at the establishment applicants. And Craig, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. This month we have 17 bar applicants for the bar licenses. We have one license available per quota, and with the developments of this meeting, we have one additional to issue. Of those 17 applicants, 6 of them are either open and operating under a different license or are ready to open. First applicant that we have that is open and operating, we have Wasatch Loft and Tap Room. They're open and operating as a full restaurant. Upstairs, they are operating with a seasonal bar license, which winter seasonal, and that does shut down April 1st. We have Saddlebag Saloon. They are currently open and operating with a tavern license. They would be surrendering that tavern license if issued a bar license. Also have Roja Brewing Project. They are open and operating with a tavern license in Salt Lake City. They would be surrendering that tavern license if issued the bar license. We also have Trolley Wing Company. This is the trolley car location in Salt Lake up at Trolley Square. They are ready to open. We also have Shades Tap Room. They are open and operating with a tavern license and would be surrendering that tavern license if issued the bar license. And we also have Durango Bar in Salt Lake. They are open and operating with a tavern license and would be surrendering that tavern license if issued the bar license. Those applicants are available to address the commission if they so desire. Additionally, we have Quarters in Sugar House, Franklin Avenue Cocktail and Kitchen in Salt Lake, and Paxton Pub in Salt Lake. They have projected openings of April, and would be available to address the commission.
Okay, what we'd like to do is, first of all, starting, I guess, we would hear from those that are either operating or projected to operate in April. I'd like to begin hearing if Wasatch Loft and Tap Room is here and they would like to make a comment.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Monet Madsen with Salt Lake Brewing Company. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you fine. Thank you, Ms. Madsen.
Hi, I guess our question is this. We've been operating under a seasonal license that will be termed on April 1st, so here just in a day or two. And so we didn't know if our next opportunity was going to be a full bar license or if there's another seasonal license available to us. Obviously, our preference would be to go to a full bar license if there's one available. I also just want to check, correct as a matter of record. On previous calls, I've stated that our seating capacity for that store is upwards of pushing up to 300 seats for that location, but that location actually only seats 182 total. So I just wanted to correct that as a matter of record.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask you a very blunt question now, and that is, being the fact that you've been operating in winter, and winter, of course, is a very heavy traffic season in Park City. If you don't get this, you still be able to operate downstairs, will you not, during the summer?
That is correct, but we have booked private events upstairs that would definitely like to avail the use of a bar license so that they can have the social reception type of private event that they have booked up there. As we've mentioned on these calls before, Park City has done a very good job at becoming more of a full year-round resort community. And so we really don't see near the steep downturns in the spring and fall seasons that we've seen in the past. And we certainly anticipate having a really strong summer season starting somewhere in the month of May. Right near the end of May, we really hope to see an uptick in the amount of travelers into that location.
Okay, all right. Commissioners, anybody have any questions, Ms. Madsen? All right, let's move to Saddlebag Saloon in Eden.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Campbell, representing Saddleback Saloon.
You have a seating of only 25, is that right?
Indoors, yes, but we do have additional 50 for outside on the patio.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions?
And we also purchased a building adjacent to it, and we're working on connecting the two. So that's going through plan right now. And I want to make it clear that the Ogden Valley is an underserved area. We don't have the opportunity, to go next door to another bar. We get a lot of people that come in all the time, and I mean, there is no other place, that just has a bar to be able to go into for a drink.
Okay. Yes, we do note on that you are in an underserved area. Yes. Any questions from anyone in the commission? All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Campbell. Appreciate it. We'll move on to the next one, which is Roja Brewing Project.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Rob Phillips with Roja Brewing. Do you want to start with questions, or would you like me to make a short presentation first?
Well, I think we've received a presentation from you before. We're pretty familiar with your project, but maybe that is the best way. If anybody have any questions of Roja Brewing? Okay, well, and you can seat 54 people, right?
Indoors, actually, I did some looking at it this morning. It looks like indoors we can do between 70 and 80 seats. We also received a facade grant from Salt Lake City to add a patio space. And so that will seat an additional 30 to 40 people plus standing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Try One Company.
Jess Wilkerson.
Jeff Cree.
Mr. Wilkerson, Mr. Green, good to see you guys again. We're pretty familiar with your location, your operation. Probably the only question in the world says, my understanding that trailer is actually a replica, isn't it? It wasn't based on, it wasn't a real trolley.
But I don't think we have enough time to tell the whole story, but it was actually, it was built for two that were operable, two broken down ones. There's a long history of the different businesses that's been over the years, but ours never actually did operate as you see it.
Yeah, but it's a replica. It's a very nice replica. Yeah, I mean, one other business, is there anything else that you need to tell us that we didn't know before?
Well, we're getting into nicer weather, patio season. So when we voluntarily made the decision to forfeit our license 5 months ago, I guess, we first tried to obviously get the liquor license in the new location. We tried to get that seasonal one. I don't know if you remember, but I do. I know that Wasatch got it. So here we are still standing hand in hand, literally. I'm looking at the list of other applicants who are all operating every day. They have employees. They hopefully are making a profit. And I know they'll make a better one once they get their license. We are paying a $175 fine every single day that we are not open. We've been doing this for 4 months. It's time for us to make, hopefully when we chose to shut this thing down, it was because it was the middle of the winter. And we made a tough decision knowing the repercussions that may come. Well, with that said, we looked at it as we could afford to do this in the winter because we really need Taylorsville to work. So now that it's warming up, the worst case scenario for us was, boy, we'll get it by spring. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I know that there's going to be a bunch more coming. We're all reading the papers. And I see everybody on this list who's operating every day. And my feeling is that maybe they can wait till June to get their liquor license. Maybe they can survive between now and then. I don't know that we can. So here we are. This is worst case scenario for us. We made this decision. So nothing has changed. We are ready to open. We'll drive straight there and open the door.
Right. We don't have a summer seasonal license, as you are aware. We won't be getting one, it appears, for some time, because even, and as I'm going to announce after the bar licenses are done, the legislation that was passed this year gives us 9.5, and that 0.5 is a winter license. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So you said you're ready to open. What does that mean exactly? When could you literally open for business?
Again, to go back, we weren't ready to close. We voluntarily shut that door on an operating business. We had to lay people off. So when I say we're ready, I mean, we literally walk over, we turn the lights on, we call our distributor, we swing right over to DMC, grab our liquor, we make a phone call to our old manager who was anxiously waiting to hear from us. She's taken some personal time, which really worked out well, to be honest. She needed a little break. Great. Get your stuff together, but springtime, let's get ready to get back to work. Well, she's ready. She's got kids. She's ready to get back to work. We all are. So yeah, I mean, literally immediately.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay. And appreciate your continued patience. You guys have been really good. Thank you. The next one we want to talk to would be the Shades Tap Room. Anybody here from Shades Tap Room? Oh, yes.
First, I want to just thank you very much. We were here last month. We received a tavern license, and I want to thank you for that. And I hope that you don't hold that against us and not give us a bar license because of that. Sorry.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
It's Alexandra Ortiz.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ortiz.
We're grateful to be able to open again. Our business has been a combination of package. We sell in the grocery stores, convenience stores, the bars and restaurants, and also on premise. People actually coming and purchasing from us and drinking on site. COVID has been very, very difficult, and especially 2021 was very difficult with the shortages and inflation going through the roof. That has greatly impacted our package and our ability to operate. And so we rely on our over-the-counter business. We have a team that is worked very hard. They're very proud of the products that they make, and they literally, if they're in the refrigerator and the package to go, and we can't sell them. We can't have, to people, try them over the counter. What that has meant in terms of our sales is that they've dropped in half. People come in, they'll just have a taster of the new draft, and they'll leave. So the tavern license, I mean, we can sell about 20% of our whole portfolio with that license, things that we actually brew on site. People come in, they look at the tanks, and we have to say, I'm sorry, you can't have that one. That is your favorite. When people come to our establishment, they just don't come to drink. They come because there's a flavor profile, because people crafted it there. There is a particular beer that they can't get anywhere else, that they come to us for. We're also a Harvest Host. I don't know if you're familiar with Harvest Host, but Harvest Host is a national network of people who are retired or vacation on their RVs, and they come and stay in your property, and they come and do that. So we see tourists. We're part of the Tourist Bureau. They send us tourists, and sorry, we can't give you, the beer that was voted best local beer. because I'm not allowed to serve it to you over the counter. A lot of people are traveling, so it's not like they can just put it in their suitcases and take it with them. I just ask that you please consider us for the license that you have available now. We are ready to go. The beer is in the cooler, literally. We just need to, bring it down the hall and put it in the cooler so we could be ready to operate next week. We are half a block from a track station. So people come on tracks, not everybody has to drive. We are also in an underserved area. We are in an opportunity zone. We're located in South Salt Lake. South Salt Lake is broke. They need all the revenue that they can generate. So I ask that you please also consider that. And just consider us for that one. Yes.
I just want to make a point. We show that there are 16 other bars in your same zip code. So
Sure,
I'm not sure where.
Sure, I'm happy to address that. So we're not a bar that sells just Budweiser or Miller Coors. It's not just like a dive bar that people go to. We make our own product. You can't get a pina colada sour where you're at. You can't get a peach cobbler. You can't get a Cerberus. You can't get these products down the street.
Okay, that's your okay.
Yeah, and we were actually the very first ones when we moved into the city. They didn't know if we were gonna cause explosions or if we were evil or, if, anything was gonna happen if they allowed a brewery in. And because we had a great relationship with the community, they allowed and expanded their liquor licenses to allow others to exist.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, just the point of this underserved area, I know that the criteria that we see in the matrix is the number of bars per zip code. And I think we have to go to something. I get that, but I would just remind everyone what I'm thinking about as I think about this, and that's that zip codes vary in geographical size. They vary in the population that actually lives in them. They vary in the number of tourists that are in there. So daytime population versus like heads and beds. And so I think this is a good guide for us, but knowing, I do know this particular area. And as you mentioned, the Opportunity Zone program is there for, areas that are probably stand to be revitalized. And so I can see where you're coming from for making that point. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one other point. I wanted to thank Ms. Ortiz for the link to the video that you sent. And I want to try your Key Lime award-winning beer. And it's unfortunate that I can't do it at your restaurant. And I sympathize with this situation. It seems absolutely ridiculous. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Now, Chris, explain, there was a transfer out of this, of a bar license from this location to another location?
Yeah, Craig, but.
I'm happy to explain if you would.
Yeah, in the October commission meeting, there was a license transfer from this location on Utopia to 366 South State Street. There's a restructure of the LLC and a transfer complete where that bar license moved to State Street in Salt Lake.
May I address or explain what happened?
Sure.
Sure. As I mentioned to you, with COVID, our tap room was closed for 6 months because it was not safe to bring people inside. And then 2021, with all the prices going up and us not being able to compete and raise the prices to where they need to be, we desperately needed to have a second location. There was a location downtown that was in front, they were in trouble. They're basically a client of ours. It's a location that's above the Himalayan Kitchen. The location had been an event center and they couldn't operate as an event center during COVID, so they had been losing money. They tried to operate as a coffee shop, but its place is not ideal as a coffee shop. And they made us a deal that we thought would be something that would be a good collaboration between a restaurant that supports our business and allowed us to come in and work with them to run that location. They already had, the place was already furnished and ready to go. They just didn't have the licensing available to be able to operate. And because we really need the revenue right now, and their state is out of licenses, that was an opportunity that we had to take. We're also closer to Salt Lake City's convention center and all of the people down there. So that license transferred there. We were hoping that that would be seamless and we could just continue to basically do a license in South Salt Lake, but just because of the process in Utah, that was not possible.
All right, thank you very much. Any further questions from the commissioner? Okay, thank you very much. Let's move down to Durango Bar.
Pablo Hinojosa.
Morning, how are you?
Good.
Okay, do you state your name for the record, please?
Pablo Hinojosa.
Yes, sir. Okay. And obviously you're operating and ready to open and to change from a tavern to a bar, right?
Yes. Well,
Is there anything, we've talked to you on several occasions. We had your manager in here.
yeah.
She no longer works for you, is that correct?
She can. She was gonna come back last week, but she can come back anytime. Right now we're kind of slow. Like we got beer only. I mean, our customers usually go next door because we don't have liquor. So we're a lot of people are like they go there and they say, oh, we should. I mean, we don't come very much because we like hard liquor, not beer, But we're ready to go.
Okay.
And she will come back when we get the full liquor license.
All right. So is there anything new that you want to tell us that we haven't learned about your business before?
Same. I mean,
okay. Any commissioners have any questions? Well, if not, thank you very much. Sure appreciate it. And then let's move on to the next one, which is Quarters in Sugar House.
Morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Please state your names for the record, please.
I am Michael Eccleston.
And I'm Katie Willis.
Okay. And I saw a commercial on TV like that. Well, I understand that you will not be ready to open until April. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
We're currently under construction. We had a long permitting process with Salt Lake City. We started in November and just got our permits last week. So we're heavily under construction. When we opened downtown, we were open 7 weeks after starting construction. So we're hoping for a similar timeline.
Yeah, our contractor was waiting and ready to go. So the second we got those permits, like there's been so much work done. It's been insane. So we're feeling really optimistic right now.
Yeah, you can drive by the space.
Yeah.
The whole parking lot is dug out.
Well, if we're honest with each other, does it really look like you're going to be open by the end of April?
We're hoping for the end of April. We know we'll be open before June.
Yeah, that's the kind of the point we wanted to make, is that we believe that with how quickly construction has already started and where we're at and what we know from our past experience, that we will be waiting on a license if we're waiting until those June licenses become available. So we're hoping honestly to get a license before then, so that we're not waiting, ready to go. We're already training people downtown to get ready for this location. So
yeah, so I think ideally for us, not a license today, but in April, or if one happened to materialize in May.
in May, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming to report to us. Anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Just want to say we're super excited to be in Sugar House. The bars will be sisters, not twins. There's going to be above ground sunlight, and we're adding a kitchen, and we're excited to be in the neighborhood. Right now in Sugar House, you can't really get a cocktail since Ruin moved downtown.
Yeah.
So cocktails are a big part of our brand. I worked at Bar X in Copper Common previously. So we're excited to fill a much needed hole in Sugar House. So
Good. Well, thank you. And thank you for presenting to us today.
thank you.
Franklin Avenue.
Sorry, old people walk slower.
Morning.
I'm John Prince. This is Jason LaCase. There have been studies that some people are more afraid of public speaking than death, and Jason and I ran into each other with so my job is to talk if I fall over. But Jason's the managing partner.
John and I are partners in a small restaurant group called the Bourbon Group. We have 3 restaurants, bars downtown, Whiskey Street, White Horse, and Bourbon House. Our new project is Franklin Avenue. It's on Edison Street, which those that know where the new liquor store is going downtown will be your neighbor to the north. It's a street that's being revitalized. We hope will be key to that along with the liquor store. After 9 months of construction, the shell's done. All of our equipment is in town. We're starting installation of restaurant and bar equipment today. Kind of going with the same concept, same chef behind our other 3 establishments. And we think we'll be ready to roll in about 3 to 4 weeks.
So it'd be really close up against our next commission meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
John, how many licenses have you held? 12 million.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
So why is this the first month that you've applied for a license for this new establishment, considering you're so far along?
Plan A was to buy a license. And then when we saw that the licenses were coming available in July or June, we felt like it was, we'd get in line, and we're still interested in maybe purchasing if something comes along, but just kind of playing for both hands.
I mean, we made offers that at the time were higher than it had ever sold and never even heard back. I mean, it was just so.
Okay.
And Jason and I are terribly afraid of public speaking. I mean, just don't dismiss that. It's not a joke. This is
very good. Anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming down. Paxton Pub.
Hello, everybody. I am Russell Hanson, Andrew Burt, and Maureen O'Donnell. We're with Paxton Pub. We'll start with any questions you guys might have.
Well, how far along are you on construction?
We're pretty far. We hope to be done by the middle to end of April.
Okay. All right. And have you got all your licenses and everything?
We're working on getting the business license this week right now. Other than that, we have everything we need.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? Well, if not, so you're looking really close to the next commission meeting, right?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Commissioners, these are the people who are ready, close to being ready. And I would go to the Compliance Committee for recommendations. We have 2 licenses.
Mr. Chair, if you're ready. I'd like to first make a motion that we approve the Saddlebag Saloon for a bar license.
Okay. All right. Do I have a second to that? Seconded by Commissioner Orton, moved by Commissioner Tui, seconded by Commissioner Orton, that we give one of the licenses to Saddlebag Saloon. Any discussion on that matter? If not, we'll vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Tui, what was the thought of the committee with regard to this second license that became available today?
So we would, after much discussion, make a recommendation that we approve Trolley Wing Company for the license. I do want to recognize that must have been difficult for them as a business decision to transfer the license to the Taylorsville location. We appreciate their consideration before the commission. We're very familiar with the trolley car and its significance to Salt Lake City. And it's definitely not an easy decision. It's just crazy that we have 17 applicants with one license to give, and then one additional license because of a statute that precludes them from holding on to it because they're not ready to open. So it's with that, I'll just go ahead and make the motion that we approve Trolley Wing Company for the bar license.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Tui, seconded by Commissioner Orton to award the second one to Trolley Wing Company. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's the two licenses that we have. So to those of you who did not get a license today, I want to know that we anticipate with the legislation that we will be getting 9.5 licenses in June to deal with. And we would like to have public input as to how we address those licenses when we get them. And to that extent, we would invite all of you, invite your friends, invite any other interested parties to come speak to us next month about ideas. We will also take the ideas in writing that you might have for those of you who are scared of public speaking. And we're really interested in getting community input about what to do with those 9.5 licenses. The 0.5, by the way, is a winter license. So it may not be what falls in line with what some of the applicants would like, but that's what we got. So if you would like to address us next month, we will have an agenda item. We will also accept anything, as I said, in writing. And we would like you also to tell your patrons, tell your friends, we're looking for ideas because needless to say, this is kind of a one-time situation, and that if we were to dispose of those licenses all in one meeting in June, we'd be back to the same situation we are now. Okay, so I would invite all of you to do that. I also invite you to speak with the legislators about this particular issue. So that your voice is heard and that they can weigh your voice with any other voices that they hear in connection with this issue. So thank you again, and look forward to hearing from you next month.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to add in that we will get one more population increase license in April and then one more in July in addition to the 9.5 June 1st. Thank you.
May I ask a quick question on that point? So did the legislation that was passed during this last legislative session actually change the quota, like the population quota? So do we?
No, this all come from the hotels.
Okay, so.
They're broken out from the hotels.
Okay, so there were some changes in other places. So entities currently holding bar licenses actually go to those other types of licenses now. So the actual number of licenses available, bar licenses, didn't change. Am I understanding that right?
Well, the number of bar licenses does change in terms of just bar licenses. They were taken out of the hotel licenses. So the hotel licenses will now include the ability to have a bar, and they don't have to have a separate bar license.
Okay.
So in effect, we really did get additional bar licenses, but they were not allocated as such by the legislation.
Okay, gotcha. The quota. Just wanted to check on that quota. Thank you.
Oh, I can mention that, yes. Yeah, one of the pieces of legislation for those of you looking to buy licenses is that the legislature is no longer going to allow the purchase of bar licenses after the legislation becomes June. And so any transfers which are based upon the purchase of a bar license will have to be submitted to the staff by May the 10th. Is that the correct date, Angela?
Yes, in order to be on the May agenda, they would need to be in by May 10th.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all on that issue. We sure appreciate your patience and working with us in this very difficult situation. Let's move on to full service restaurant applicants. Nicole.
Good morning, Commissioner, again. First, we'd like to strike Number 11, Chili's Grill and Bar in Sarasota Springs. Then we have number 3, the Crack Shack for via 313 Pizzeria, 5 Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, 6L Marcel Mexican and Salvadorian Food, 8 Pizza Volta, 9 De Los Muertos in Sugar House. They are conditionals. And then number 1, La Puente Mexican Restaurant. Number 2, Casa Tequila. Number 7, Sushi Naloa. And then number 10, they are good to go. All application meets statutory requirements and staff recommend approval.
So if I understand correctly, items 1, 2, 7, and 10 are ready to go without any condition, and items 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 are conditional.
You are correct.
And we're going to strike Chili's.
You are correct, sir.
Okay. Do I have a motion to that effect to approve those with the ones being conditional that I mentioned?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tui, seconded by Commissioner Orton. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Limited service restaurant applicants, Mike Bishop.
Good morning, Commissioners. With regards to the limited service applicants, we're going to strike number 1. Number 2, the Juan Cafe and Mexican Hat, they are conditional. And number 3, Stellar Wings, number 1 is in South Salt Lake. And the applicants meet statutory requirements.
All right, so with regard to the limited service restaurant applicants, I'll accept a motion to approve items number 2 and 3 with number 2 being a conditional. Moved by Commissioner Parrish. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Terrazon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving to item number E, reception center applicant, Bonnie.
Good morning again. We have one applicant, Siempre in Draper. It's conditional. They're still kind of under construction and I'm waiting on a business license. They will require a final inspection, but they meet statutory requirements and staff would recommend approval. And just to also let you know that we only have one other full after this and a winter, and we won't get another one until next year sometime.
Okay. All right, so I'll accept a motion to approve the reception center applicant, Semper in Draper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Tui. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Orton. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, moving to item F, beer only restaurant applicant, Corey.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have one application, it's Giracho's in Layton. The application is complete, it is conditional, and it meets statutory requirements.
Okay, and I accept the motion to approve the beer only restaurant applicant, Giracho's in Layton as conditional. Moved by Commissioner Orton. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Randall. Just all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 14 is the operations update. Now I'll leave that to our director and to Mr. Meyer.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. First, let me start off by thanking you all as a body for approving the state auditor's audit plan. Obviously, we welcome the opportunity to learn anything that comes of that audit and are very interested in making sure that, as a transparent agency, that there's a transparent process and looking to definitely improve from whatever his work product might find. So thank you very much for that. And then I'm very excited to give a quick update and very condensed update on how our department from an operations perspective fared in this most recent legislative session. So as you all know, there are things that are decided legislatively that are
policy driven in nature. The things that we're focused on in this update are operational, because obviously that's what we do. We don't legislate and we don't make policy. I am so excited at the hard work that went into building our business cases and the process by which we communicated and believed in and fought for those business cases, first with the governor's office and then with our appropriations committee, and then the fuller body of the legislature to get their buy-in on why making an investment in the DABC, soon to be DABS, is so important. And so really, I'm very thankful that the legislature made historic record level investments in our agency to better improve our department, to better improve our operations in a way that is not only going to make us internally more efficient, but also externally more efficient. And of course, we know that when externally we're more efficient, there is a return on investment and ROI there for our customers. And those customers are not only our retail customers, those customers are also those that we serve in our prevention education community, which is all of Utah, right? Whether you drink or you don't drink, as well as our customers in the hospitality industry, those that interact with our licensing and compliancing staff. So very, very excited about these. I would love Kay to speak a little bit more to those three priorities. Again, three multi-million-dollar priorities that were all funded, again, that will have an ROI both internally and externally for our department.
Thank you, Tiffany. I'll start with the compliance infrastructure. This is a project, it's designed to help the department to become more service friendly and have the ability for our partners to apply for licenses and take care of business online. This is something new to us. We have some of that today, but not very much. So this is a very exciting opportunity, hopefully, and just better customer service overall for those in whom we try to serve. When the funding is given to our department in July, we plan to be prepared to hit the ground running. Currently, our business analysts are actively working on wireframing the project for help in establishing our statement of work that we will then provide to DTS to help with the programming that will be associated with this project. After programming, testing, and the pilot phase, we anticipate the project to have a completion sometime in the next fiscal year. So we're anticipating that we'll be able to start obviously in July and then move forward quickly. The next project is the buy online and pick up in store, which sometimes is called click and collect. This is an opportunity for everyone to order their shopping online, make those selections, at their office or their home or wherever they connect. Then they can come to the store for payment and final pickup. This funding that we're going to receive allows the department the opportunity to develop their programming and create a pilot in 2 stores. This funding will be received in July, and we anticipate this project will move quickly. To have our first pilot store ready in the summer of 2023. Then there is store infrastructure. This project will help our store employees be more efficient and provide them with the necessary tools for improved inventory management. We'll be able to provide them with updated and upgraded scanning tools and improve our customer service levels with increased abilities to anticipate demand placed on them. We're currently partnering with Dixie State University and their computer programming department on developing our full scope and our statement of work. This project funding is available again in July, and we anticipate the project to be finalized in phases over the upcoming fiscal year. I mentioned quickly, we also received special order and wine subscription funding through SB 14. And this is a project that allows us to hopefully enhance and better serve our customers with their orders that are special orders. These are items that we don't normally carry that people are interested in. We hope to be able to improve the overall amount of time that it takes to get those orders completed. And then also we receive funding on our wine subscription program as well, which we're currently in the process of scoping that work as well. Again, all this funding is anticipated will start here soon, and so we want to be prepared for that. Then finally, one final item that we weren't funded for, but we were able to establish this year is a revolving loan fund. As you know, in the past, typically the department bonds for new stores or renovation of stores. And so taking on that bonding has an element that is, there's interest that needs to be paid on those bonds. And so we are hopeful that we can follow the process that we've seen in other areas where we can establish this fund, which was just established this year, and then have the ability for the legislature to appropriate one-time monies, which will allow us to have money in there to be able to invest and hopefully not have to pay interest on the bonds that are associated sometimes with lending money. So we anticipate a great savings from this and look forward to partnering, of course, with the legislature as we move forward with this revolving loan fund. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Tiffany.
Great. And so I alluded just very quickly to SB 167, also known as the Omnibus Bill, that it went with a recommendation to change the agency or department name from the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control to Alcoholic Beverage Services. Again, just important to note that our mission has not changed. We are still a control state along with 17 other control states in the country. But this really aligns with and helps better represent what our department does. And that is, we are a public enterprise focused on customer service, aspiring to always improve our customer service, again, whether it is our prevention education community and the folks that we serve there, which is everyone, and then obviously our retail customers, as well as our licensing and compliance customers that are the backbone of our hospitality and tourism industry. And so we're excited about that change. Also, a couple of quick things. The legislature passed a law that now allows for Sunday and holiday sales for local manufacturers and distillers who have Type 5 package agencies. And so we know that there are a lot of our local manufacturers and local business partners that are very excited about that and being able to adjust their business concepts and models accordingly. You all have talked with and dealt with the fact that 9.5 bar licenses will be coming online. So I don't need to belabor that. Also, of note are hard seltzers. So effective June 1st of 2022, Utah's new definition of beer will go into effect. And this change allows many seltzers to remain in grocery store or convenience stores, what we often refer to as off-prem, right, or OPs. So we are working on things operationally right now to make sure that we're in alignment with that change when it occurs on January 1st, and to mitigate and minimize major disruptions to the market. So we want to have a smooth transition and make sure that as of June 1st, retailers will be obviously permitted to sell through any non-compliant seltzers that they have in stock, but that they're not ordering any new seltzers after that point. And then obviously we will have our team, our compliance team, work to organize in the fall some visits to make sure that our retailers are in compliance. And if they have any questions or need any additional assistance and training, that we're able to provide that support to them. So again, working to minimize this market disruption, really work with the local manufacturers, distributors, as well as our retailers to have a smooth transition with this new law. Lastly, I just wanted to touch on April being Alcohol Awareness Month. Doug joined us today and sort of teased that out. Alcohol Awareness Month is really important. Alcohol awareness in general is really important. As Doug mentioned, there are definitely public health concerns and side effects to overconsumption, and to the extent that we can help educate and provide assistance to the public on how to mitigate those overconsumption concerns or risks within their friends and families and networks, we want to make sure to be able to do that. We're excited about some of the programming that we'll be able to announce shortly that will last all year long, that will help us partner with not only industry partners, but also better support and align with law enforcement and public safety, as well as others to sort of, again, better support this effort to make sure folks are aware and educated on alcohol awareness and the risks and or benefits there. So that was our operations update. As always, we are here to support you and always look to do a good job there and improve where we can. And thank you for your service and the difficult decisions that you have to make every day, especially on days like today. So.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that detail. And anybody have any questions of the?
Angela has a quick comment.
Sorry, Commissioner, just a couple quick points. Point of clarification, I was multitasking, so I did not hear this. I believe that Wasatch may have indicated that their seasonal license expires April 1st. It's actually April 30th, so I just wanted to clarify that. And then also Mr. Scarlett with Below Zero was stuck in another meeting earlier, but I believe he's now online and he may wish to address the commission.
All right, fine. Well, sure, we'd enjoy hearing from Mr. Scarlett. Are you there?
Mr. Scarlett, if you're online, to hit *6 to unmute. Nicole's calling him.
Okay, sorry about that. I was having difficulty unmuting the phone.
Oh, good. We can hear you. You can hear us, I assume, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Okay, well,
First, let me tell you, we greatly appreciate the cooperation that you've given to staff and your honesty and willingness to work with us. And I can only tell you, if you were here, you'd be able to gather from looking at the faces of the commissioners that we're willing to work with you, and we're very empathetic with the situation that you've been placed in. But anyway, we'd like to give you the floor to say whatever you'd like to our commission.
thank you, sir. And thank you, commissioners. All I wanted to just let you know that after our last meeting, I understood the severity in the situation. And I tried to move heaven and earth to make it work to meet the deadline. And I had the city, Salt Lake City was working with me, had the building inspectors came out and looked. What I did is I completed just a section of the building that would allow us to be able to open for the one day. And then just before I had the health department to come do their inspection, the landlord, he's doing repairs in the building or remodeling in the basement, cut all the power and removed the water access and hot water to the first floor where where we were trying to get open. He was aware that I was working to get that open even just for a day, and for whatever reason went ahead and did these sorts of things, and it just killed any possibility for me to be able to do that. And so I just wanted to come and let you know that I did everything possible. I had contractors jumping and stepping up and helping me out to get things resolved and to get this area prepared. And as I mentioned, I talked with the city. The city was very helpful and empathetic. They realized it was a challenge and were trying to do what they could to help me to get the business license approved for that area. But it dealing with the landlord there, and basically it felt, frankly, like a little bit of sabotage. I was just not able to do it, and I wanted to thank you for your help in at least in giving me these opportunities, and I just apologize I wasn't able to get it done. I purchased a building in the meantime. Well, I don't know if we mentioned that last time we were with you, but I purchased another building in anticipation to be able to transfer the license there that was turnkey and ready to go. And so what I'll be doing, I guess, is I'll be applying this week or prior to the 10th of next month for the deadline for a new license to put in the building that I purchased on North Temple, and seeing if I can, have opportunity once again to try to open a bar in town. And so anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I'll be doing that and hope that this experience that you understand that I tried to do everything I possibly could and to be responsible and to meet the obligations of the rules and the laws. Having said that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, good. We'll look forward to getting your new application and wish you the best in your construction on your new location. Thank you so much for being cooperative with our staff and the commission.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, let's go to item number 15, which is comments from commissioners and the public. First of all, any commissioners have any comments? If not, anyone from the public have any comments? Yes.
First, I just want to address click and collect. I want to say thank you that at least we're moving forward, but that is not awesome from our point of view. People are getting their grocery stores delivered to their homes, and that's what people really want. They don't want to have to still make that extra trip. And then the other thing that I also just wanted to put in perspective, I certainly appreciate the job that Parents Empowered are doing. I think in this state, we're all very aware there's a lot of alcohol awareness. And I also just wanted to point out that for every violation that we see, there's thousands of licensees in the state that are complying, but they're working with hundreds of thousands of people that come through every year, and they do a great job of trying to stay in compliance and take care of that. I also wanted to put some numbers that I quickly looked up to put the problem in perspective. 100,000 deaths by drugs. I think all of you probably could relate to walking downtown or even in your own neighborhoods. There's people on drugs, on the streets. There's needles everywhere. I know in my street, I had to call the police. People broke into our truck. They were doing heroin in the back of our truck, and they were cleaning up the needles. And what are we doing about them? Obesity. I just looked up, over 40% of the population is now obese. What are we doing about sugary drinks and junk food, chips? So from my perspective, this is a very important focus, but some of our other problems dwarf this. And what are we doing to address those problems? And the drug addicts and the obesity and the deaths from diabetes are over 100,000 as well each year in the US. I would love personally to see the focus of Parents Empowered to expanded to address those issues as well.
Thank you very much for your comments. Are there any other public comments? Okay. If not, our next agenda item number 16. First of all, let me explain that we have Type 2 and Type 3 package agencies that are business that work for us under contract with the state of Utah to sell alcohol to underserved areas. These small businesses largely service rural areas of the state, filling gaps where the DABC stores are not located. The DABC and the ABC Commission have long maintained important relationships with these small businesses, and these folks maintain contracts with the state of Utah, and we look forward to this continuing practice. We remain committed to transparency as we continue with the process for reviewing and finalizing package agent contracts. We are grateful to many of our small business owners who are seeking to either become package agencies or continue to be a package agency with the state of Utah, and who are participating in this open and transparent process. So the commission is currently in the process of reviewing applications for Type 2 and Type 3 package agencies for new contract period that will begin on July 1 of this year. Section 32B-2-603 of the Utah Code Annotated lists a number of duties that the commission must fulfill before awarding package agency contracts. The statute also requires the department to conduct an investigation to gather information to assure appropriate service to the general population of the state, and to forward such information and recommendations to the commission for its consideration. Because the department is currently involved in litigation with 13 existing package agencies, most of whom are also applying for new package agency contracts. The commission needs to consult with legal counsel regarding certain details of this process mandated by Utah Code Annotated Section 32B-2-603. This consultation needs to occur in a closed executive session, and I will entertain a motion that we move pursuant to Utah Code Annotated Section 52-4-205 subsection 1 subsection C into closed section to consult with our legal counsel regarding this pending litigation.
Chairman, I'll make the motion that we move into closed session for the purpose of consulting with our legal counsel about this pending litigation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tui. The motion is to move into executive session pursuant to section 52-4-205 subsection 1 subsection C to consult with legal counsel regarding the pending litigation. This requires a roll call vote. Vicky, would you please call the roll? Yes.
Commissioner Tenor.
Aye.
Commissioner Bolton. Aye. Commissioner Parrish.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley.
Aye.
Reza. Aye.
Aye.
So we will move into executive session and we will return after we've completed the executive session.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and it just that's a completely different situation from what Charlie Lee. They start dwelling inside and like empty outside or something. But I will say it is always
Versus the face off. We're not, always staying.
I know, I might be the guilty party on that, we're moving. No, I might be the guilty party on that one, because I felt really strongly about,
Well,
I just.
there are two things, two principles, right?
Who was, hey, Chairman, who was it that you wanted to give them? She was asking me.
Well.
Me too, me too. I'm sure. Third floor. I was just trying to figure out what I need.
into open session.
So moved, Tenor.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Tenor, seconded by Commissioner Tui. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you have to do a roll call on that, though, do you? Vicky?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. So after consultation with legal counsel, there is no specific action to be taken today. The currently scheduled special commission meeting on April 4, 2022 will be a public hearing when the commission will meet with each person who has applied for a type 2 or type 3 package agency contract that will begin on July 1, 2022 in order to fulfill the commission's statutory obligations pursuant to Utah Code Annotated Section 32B-2-603. The commission's decision and actions regarding new type 2 and type 3 package agency contracts will occur at its regularly scheduled meeting on April 26, 2022. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Randall.
Moved by Randall, seconded by Tui. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.